Hi, I'm Editor-in-Chief Crista Alarcon, and I'm here with head football coach David Cooper. Okay, so Coach Cooper, obviously last Friday we didn't get the result we wanted at the game, but what are some things, especially defensively, because I know we have a lot of new people in those defensive positions that you've noticed and are looking to improve for this Friday?
So, I mean, we went into that game. We know that the game with us in Northgate the last, probably 11 years that I've been here has been a very physical, high-intensity rivalry with them. So, we went into that game knowing what we were going to get. It was going to be a hard-fought game on both sides. First half, we struggled on defense a little bit, and, it's really, there's no blame to be thrown in any direction. It just, that sometimes one person would do it right and the second level would do it wrong, or the first level would do it wrong and the second level would do it right, and then, where we can get the secondary guys to fit up within that stuff. So, we were outweighed a little bit, and we got to get in there and grind it out and try to eliminate some stuff up front. But there's a lot of improvement we can go work on going forward with tackling and angles and where to fit and things like that we've been working on all week.
And as far as you kind of mentioned, like the flow, like making sure one person is, like both of you guys are doing it right, or both levels are doing it right. How are you kind of planning on kind of like helping the boys throughout that, like helping the guys get into that, especially going into Whitewater game, which is another very competitive, very, I guess, rivalry game.
Yeah, you start out the season with 2 in a row. All you can do, it's reps. Mm-hmm. It's, what we were talking about in one of our earlier conversations. We have multiple new people who maybe haven't played in a couple years or are just coming back or have never played for us. That, the challenge for us is just getting them to do their part, because football, unlike a lot of other games, is, you have to rely on all 11 people to do what they're supposed to in order for it to work right. And if there's any weak links out there, the opposing team quickly finds that weak link, and then you get exposed. So, it's a process you build on throughout the whole season. And, Friday night we weren't able to stop a few things. Hopefully this coming Friday we'll be able to close down some of those gaps that we had the week before, and then, keep going throughout the next 4 non-region games to start the season, and hope that we're clicking on all cylinders and we're all right by the time we hit region.
When looking at the stats, I really noticed a lot of our really, really strong, really, I guess, like more leader players aren't exactly the seniors, but more the juniors. We have some really, really consistent juniors. I'm pretty sure all of our touchdowns last Friday were made by juniors.
Yeah.
What does that kind of, I guess, like, mean for the team? How does that kind of help with leadership across the board?
Well, you throw those juniors out there. Yeah, Nolan scored on a punt, bad snap on a punt. Jack Murphy scored later in the game on a touchdown pass. But here's the thing. Those seniors, the ones that are still up there, especially in offense, your 3 senior linemen that are up there blocking, and Blake Turner eating the load, those, going back to the team success thing, like those things that happen for those juniors wouldn't be possible without the seniors out there with them. So it's good for us going forward that a lot of our skill in different positions are juniors or younger, but you still got to rely on all 11 of them every time they're out there.
Yeah, 100%. And just kind of moving forward, again, the next few games aren't going to be region. What are kind of some things that you're working on to be able to get ready for the region championship, just going forward as a team?
I think right now, the biggest thing is just physicality for us. I think for 28 years, Stars Mills kind of revolved around being very physical and being able to execute the offense, and that's been the kind of the success of the program for eternity. You got great kids. Typically, we're a little overmatched size-wise against other people, and I guess our challenge is to find ways to counteract the size difference between us and some of the teams we're playing. And we're working on it every day, trying to scheme and do things a little bit different than maybe we have in the past, just to kind of work with the kids we have now, as opposed to, some of the ones we had last year. You lose a 270-pound 3 technique who had started for 3 years, and a 4-year Mike linebacker. And, the kids we have there are now are good. We just got to figure out what necessarily they can do to keep us on the same level that we have been in the past.
Yeah,
Because it's going to be a little bit different than Jared did things, or a little bit different than, and we're working to try to figure that stuff out.
Yeah, of course. And now kind of a little bit more on the coaching side of things. You're about to go into your second year coaching, like as a head coach. What are kind of some things you're noticing, some things you're kind of bringing in from your experience last year, and some things you may have learned like over the summer and stuff like that?
I think every year's a little different. I mean, obviously last year was my first year, and you know, I walked into a team that, well, I had been here, so I didn't come from outside, but you walked into a guy with Logan and Lincoln and a bunch of senior guys who have been playing for multiple years, and you know, we don't necessarily have that huge experience team this year. So there's a few guys, you know, Eric Lundstrom, and there's Spitznagel, and some of those that have been 3-year starters for us, if not more. But, you know, besides that, there's not a lot of experience out there. So we're trying to get through it. And then, you know, you throw in a bunch of new coaches this year, you know, trying to work through that with new staff and getting on the same plane as far as what should be done, how we're going to do it, what we're going to do. And I think the kids have really adapted to the different people in the room and trying to listen to them. And like I said, it all goes back to us trying to get the kids what we have. You know, you can only play the deck you're dealt, or the cards you're dealt, right? So what we have, and we have to find a way to execute that with our kids.
100%. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me. Please be sure to check out more news at theprowlernews.org and follow us on social media at SMHS Prowler. Also, be sure to go support the Stars Mill team this Friday at Whitewater at 7:30.